Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Space Oddities. Welcome to our live coverage of the launch of Polaris Dawn. I can't believe we've, fingers crossed, finally got here. But we look to be in the final stages. They're fueling the spacecraft. And after so many cancellations and delays, as you might know, viewers, we've been trying to bring this coverage to you for how long now? God, 10 days, 2 weeks, something like that.
2 weeks, over 2 weeks,
something like that. And it's been cancelled and delayed for one reason or another. If any mission were jinxed in terms of launches, it must be this one. Anyway, it's me. It's Daz here this morning. Morning, Daz.
Hi. I've been up all night, so been looking forward to this. This is one we've been really excited about, and it's true, how can I say, pioneering at its best.
Absolutely. And also joining me this morning is Michael. Hi, how are you, Michael?
Okay, thanks. Very well, thank you. I've been up since 5:30.
Oh God, yeah. Well, I've been up since 6:30, which is your 5:30. So
yeah.
So
I can beat that. I've been up since 6 o'clock yesterday morning.
Oh no!
God! Yeah. Don't start hallucinating on us, Daz. Whatever you do.
I'm sorry. I'm just getting rid of the butterflies.
Okay, so what we're going to do first of all, we're going to just show you a short video, 3-minute video about this mission, what it's all about, and the biographies of the crew. And perhaps while we're doing that, Daz can bring us up the live coverage. Yeah. We're joining NASA spaceflight today for the live coverage. But let's, there we are. Bit of a distant view, but everything, well, as it should be at the moment, I guess. So let's have a look at the mission, what its objectives are, save us telling you all over again. Let the video do the talking, as it were. So just have a look at this. Oh, hang on, there's a problem there. All right, we won't. We'll go straight back to where we were. So just give me a second to sort that out. So, Michael, what are you looking forward to in this mission?
You're muted.
You're muted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got to be the spacewalk, actually, for me. Looking forward to that. It's going to be a complex one because it's not just one person going out. It's two people going out. I think one at a time, from what I heard earlier. But also the whole crew will obviously have to be suited up because there's no airlock as such. So the whole spacecraft will be depressurized for that particular.
Absolutely. Let's go over to the video.
You want some sound, Andy?
Okay, so there we are. So that's just a brief look at the mission objectives and the crew. Now, I don't know about you, but I think most people will be looking forward to the spacewalk as the highlight of this mission. And does anybody know if he's going to be doing anything anything at all productive during the spacewalk, or is he just going to get out of the Dragon and make glib comments such as "I can see your house from here"?
I don't think so. I think it's basically, as Michael said, it's. I think this is a proof of concept. They're not going to be anything clever. But then again, we don't know. They might do some maneuvers and test out the maneuverability of the suits. But because it's Jared Isaacman and Sarah.
Sarah Gillis.
Yeah, who are doing the walk.
That's
but
right.
As Michael said, I mean, this is the first spacewalk by civilians, basically.
Yeah.
And as Michael also pointed out, they're all going to be exposed to space. With these suits, unlike the NASA ones, they won't be carrying their sort of like oxygen and air conditioning, everything on their back. Their life suits on the back. They'll be using tethers. So they will be tethered. All the stuff will be fed through these tethers. So it's really exciting. As I pointed out earlier, both was it Sarah and let me just go back to because we were on earlier on and I put some out.
Snow and Jared.
Yeah. So no, what I'm saying is that I'm just trying to find my notes from earlier on. Oh, did I write a load of tosh earlier on? It says Sarah Gillis and Alan Menon will become record breakers for women flying the furthest from Earth when they reach the Van Allen belts. So they will be the first, the two women who have been the furthest away from Earth
and
in the highest orbit. So
one point about Anna as well. She also serves in mission control on the ground at SpaceX for other missions as well. So
that's right. That's right.
You know, a SpaceX employee, if you like. So something different.
So do we actually know whether this is the highest orbit in history? Lots of comments I've seen and information say it's the highest orbit this century. So,
I mean, if you don't include the translunar.
You can't count the Apollo ones because they passed through the belt and they were going to the moon. But there was a Gemini that came close. Now, whether or not it was the highest, I could not tell you offhand. I haven't got that information with me. Let me see if I can chase that up. Well, leave that with me, Andy, and I'll see if I can chase that up.
Opinions seem to vary on this. But anyway, it's an exceptionally high orbit, whatever.
Yeah.
And they will be flying through the Van Allen belts. And looking down, of course, on the space station, which is far below them.
That's right, yeah.
And it would be interesting to see what information they can pick up from the Van Allen belts, sort of how much radiation there actually is there.
Especially as we now know, Michael, that intense solar storm in May actually gave us an additional Van Allen radiation belt. It said it's temporary. Whether it's still there, I don't know. But
that's right.
It's interesting to see whether they can actually detect it.
Yeah.
Oh, there we are. So we're looking inside Dragon now.
I'd like to say as well that I heard Scott Petit say in an earlier video that one of the objectives is to take as much video footage as they can to really document the flight. So looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, it'd be great if they made it into a movie that they could show in cinemas all around the world.
Yeah.
Get people interested.
And that would bring a lot more money in for the hospital as well, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, talking about filming, just changing the subject slightly. When we did, one thing I didn't notice at the beginning, when we started our Starliner return to Earth video when it actually did the landing. When we started, I thought we were seeing a animation of a small dot that was passing across the Earth's face. But then I suddenly realised, and they said later on, that was actual footage caught from the International Space Station of the actual Starliner re-entering.
Yes.
Because you can see and I honestly thought it was an animation or something.
Yeah, that's cool.
But then I suddenly thought, actually, no, that is city lights.
Yeah.
And I said that was the footage they caught from the International Space, which was absolutely amazing. Sorry to sort of like go off at one, but I just had to say that because it was fantastic.
But there was also footage of that asteroid that entered the Earth's atmosphere over the Philippines last week, taken from the ISS as well.
Yeah.
They managed to catch that. So, yeah, absolutely fascinating stuff. So we're looking at the interior of the SpaceX Dragon. It's difficult to know who's who at the moment of the astronauts. But it's going to be a really interesting test of a lot of things, this mission. But we should never lose sight of the fact that it's going to raise money for St. Jude's Children's Cancer Hospital in the US, which is one of the leading hospitals for the research into juvenile cancer. And the Inspiration 4 mission, the previous mission that Jared Isaacman commanded, managed to raise $240 million for the hospital with one thing and another. And they're hoping to beat that this time, which is fantastic. So next time somebody says to you space exploration has no benefits, well, go and say that to the people who work at St. Jude's. Go say that to the parents of the sick children. Because as we all know, space exploration is an incredible generator of technologies and techniques used in medicine, and it always has been. And I was reading not so long ago that in an average year, NASA issues around 600 patents for medical equipment and techniques and processes. So the space industry generates an awful lot of good for medicine, not to mention all the research into disease that is done on the International Space Station, new medical techniques, new ways of doing things. So this is why we need the space industry, without any shadow of a doubt. Right. What they're saying here.
Oh, no, they're talking about the booster itself.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, because
one other thing to remember as well, you've got the crew on the space station. 9 people at the moment with Butch and Sonny there as well.
Yes, absolutely.
And then you've got these 4 on the Dragon, who are not going to the space station. It'll be two separate missions in space at the same time.
Yes,
yeah,
that's
and
right.
also there was a question that was I heard earlier on, which was actually quite interesting. Now I knew that they have no intention of actually interacting with the International Space Station at all, and this is one of the reasons why we've had to wait for this weather to subside. It's not so much the weather at the Cape. It's more so the weather in the Gulf of Mexico for the recovery of the booster, but also their splashdown site. So all 3 of those sites have got to have good enough weather to actually for them to be able to do all 3 things: to take off, to recover the booster, and to recover the crew. And this is why basically it's taken us so long. So obviously they're quite confident that they're going to get this thing off the, because we're 7 minutes in, everything's fueled, you can see the frost lines, there's been venting. There was something else I was going to say, and it's completely gone straight through my head. So
you should try sleeping occasionally, Daz.
Oh no,
I thoroughly recommend it as a way of refreshing your
endurance training for when I go into space.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's that's right. But of course, but if anything does go wrong, they cannot, even if they wanted to go to the space station, because they've got no docking system.
That's right.
That was removed to put the hatch on the top, so that to give them access to space.
Yeah.
So
there we are.
So it's the Dragon is quite a versatile machine, really.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's got a finite
Yeah.
Commodities on board, food,
Well, mind
water,
you,
oxygen, and that.
having said that, the Starliner is incredibly versatile as well. It's got nearly an infinite number of ways of going wrong. So,
No.
yeah. Right,
Brilliant.
while we're here, can I just say good morning to Ian? Can I say good morning to Sandra?
Yeah.
We've got a few people watching us at the moment.
Yeah.
So if you're there, just say hi in the chat. Say hello to us.
That's a record, isn't it? On for a live launch, 17.
I'm saying 15 here, but different servers, so different
maybe.
not a surprise. So say hello to us in the chat. Just say hi, just to show us you're actually there. Because we'd like to hear from you. We'd love to know as well in the chat what you think of the mission. What are you hoping for? What do you want to see? And anything like that. So
yes, please ignore the merch. Buy ours.
Yeah, that's NASA.
That's tap.
Not ours.
Quality goods. Yeah, quality.
We'll charge them for that. So, hi Sandra, how are you? You're all right today. Thank you for joining us. And we're getting excited now because it's only down to 6 minutes. Hi Gaza, you're there. Hi Alan, how are you? That's right. They're all checking in now. So lovely to see everybody. Don't forget, we'll be back tonight for our Tuesday live stream.
Oh yeah.
That will be up on the channel later today for you to click on. And tonight we've got two things going on tonight. Lou is going to be telling us about climate change, but don't let your eyes glaze over. He's going to be doing it from the solar system point of view, so it's sort of planetary climate change with relation to the Earth, of course. And I'm going to be doing a presentation about the costs and benefits of spaceflight. How much money is being spent? What's it being spent on? Is it worth it? And what do ordinary people think about what's being spent on space? So I hope you'll find that interesting. It's actually an update of a presentation I did here on Space Oddities 2 years ago. But I thought I would update it with latest figures and latest information. But it is quite interesting because, we all come across people who say, spaceflight is a waste of money. We should be spending it on the starving, etc., etc. Well, if you watch tonight, I'll tell you exactly why that's a load of nonsense as an argument.
Just going to go to full screen, Andy, because
sure. And perhaps
coming up to 3 minutes.
Just so we can hear the last.
I can do.
Yep. Yep. So
just thanks for stopping by and watching along with us, because this is truly an historic mission.
Dragon is now transitioning to internal power and configured for terminal count. Falcon 9's tanks pressing for strong back retract, which is happening right now. By the way, you will now see the clams right below Dragon. There they are, opening, and the strong back will start to retract as it gets ready to get a bit away from the rocket. So yeah, that's expected, and that's expected at this time. So everything progressing nicely here for liftoff in, I might just say this, about 200 seconds.
Wow. 200 seconds.
Well, it's 220, but I think it counts.
I think that counts, just like the clock that is currently counting down. There goes the strong back.
Yeah, don't take.
It's this is indeed happening.
Delay, so.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. This is going to be such a cool mission. We're going to get such cool imagery from it. There's going to be valuable science gathered for helping us learn how to live in space and travel back to the moon and onward to Mars. And of course, it's a really important secondary objective. I don't even know if it's okay to call it a secondary objective, but this is all going. There's the St. Jude's fundraiser, and just once again, cancer is the worst thing on the planet. So we do have that fundraiser going in collaboration with Polaris and St. Jude's. Somebody get the link in chat if you have $1 or $2 to, well, $5 or so. I think the minimum is $5 to send over there. It's a noble cause. Just do it. Cancer is the worst thing ever.
Let me just add to that. We had 4,378 raised for St. Jude's. Chat, let's get that over 5,000. I think we can do that.
Yeah, can we get that over 5,000 before liftoff? That would be really great.
To answer
Let's do that.
Alan,
Thank you.
the flight will last. They're coming
So
back
we're
in
about
5
to see a
days.
large vent
Guys, do you wanna
from
turn
the
the sound
rocket,
up?
are we
Can't hear
not,
what
Adrian?
you're
Akin to the T-minus 20-minute vent? What are we about to see?
Yeah, basically the wrap up of.
Yeah, as I said, Alan's asking how long will this last. They're coming back on the 5th day. I just want to check. I just want to quickly, just bear with me a second. I think we can do better with the quality. So just bear with me.
1
There we
minute.
go. Does that look better?
Yes.
No.
By the way, the our live stream is nearly a minute.
Yeah. I'm watching on another one. I did try to say earlier, but
Yeah,
I think Ian pushed it over. I'll say yeah.
yeah.
Right, here we go. It's 25 seconds. 24. Ignore me. I'm
30 seconds according to SpaceX.
Here we go. Right, do you want to put the sound back on, Daz?
What an exciting mission. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go.
There we go. 1 minute. We will now
5.
wait for the confirmation that Falcon 9 is an nocturnal counter. Like in the nocturnal
Dragon
counter.
is a countdown.
There you go.
Dragon,
Like you.
SpaceX. Go for launch.
Yes.
Let's go.
the last vent.
Good luck.
T-minus 30 seconds.
Godspeed, Polaris. This is a really special, historic moment, and we're all here for it together.
T-minus 15. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition, and go Falcon, go Polaris. Copy, 1 Alpha. Vehicle is pitching downrange. Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
T plus 35 seconds into the Polaris Dawn mission, flying crew on board Dragon and Falcon 9 to new heights.
Power and telemetry nominal.
And we're throttling down in preparation for max Q. Next call out, vehicle supersonic. And there on the left side, we got the Polaris Dawn crew.
Supersonic.
Thumbs up from the pilot on the left side there.
Max Q.
That's Scott. We talked to him.
Love that thumbs up.
We're throttled back
throttle
up to power.
1 Bravo.
And we heard the call out 1 Bravo.
Copy, 1 Bravo.
That just tells the crew what would happen should they need to initiate anything. But right now, everybody making nominal callouts on Falcon 9.
Everything looking good.
I love this.
Nice views from the ground camera. And nice view from
love the
inside
thumbs up.
Dragon.
Impact chill is underway.
Wow.
See that
The
plume
announcement
expanding?
lets us know we've begun the final chill of the second stage engine in preparation for its activity coming up at about T plus 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
I love the shot when the plume expands.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow.
2 minutes into flight. Everything continues to look good. We'll have in half a minute 3 major activities. Shutdown of the 9 Merlin 1D engines, stage separation,
throttle down.
and then ignition of the second stage engine.
Approaching
Throttle down,
Nico.
we're holding a constant acceleration now for the crew, just below 4 Gs.
They're
See, we're coming up
experiencing
70 kilometers.
4 Gs of acceleration, really getting pressed into their seats.
Preparing for MECO.
And watch the shutdown.
Main engine cut off.
2 Alpha.
Stage separation confirmed.
Hey.
Copy, 2 Alpha.
Fantastic.
Yes!
That's what we want to see!
As you can tell by...
Nozzle begins glowing red as
Yeah.
it heats up and begins shedding that heat into space.
Look how it rose the first stage.
Right?
And look at all those
First
lights.
stage getting absolutely blasted right now. I wonder if people along the East Coast are getting any kind of jellyfish action. This is absolutely gorgeous. You can see even the insulation, that mylar insulation on Falcon 9's second stage right above the nozzle sort of pulsing. It's almost like a heartbeat of the second stage. The crew looks absolutely sanguine. They're just chilling. Is that the right word? I don't know. They're just hanging out. The thumbs up from Kid as they were like mid-flight. That was absolutely killer. Like, what a flex. Oh yeah, I'm watching into space. I'm just going to give you a thumbs up.
That was as
Oh
smooth
my
as
goodness.
smooth.
Adrian, how long is this second stage burn?
Well, the second stage burn is... Let me get the exact timeline, because...
Thank
you.
Also, thank you to Mats for gifting 50 Red Team memberships right before liftoff. That is extremely generous. Once again, if you got to get the membership, thanks, Mats, because that's so awesome.
Absolutely, and right now my page with the timeline is not loading. Thank you for that. There we go. It now loads. Second stage engine cutoff is at 8 minutes and 59.
Fantastic.
I now understand why people keep paper notes.
Right?
Okay, guys, do you want to kill the
Post-it
sound?
notes, man. They're still a thing.
Kill
for
the
a
sound,
reason.
yeah.
So
That was gorgeous.
Oh, D, I want a situation report, but really.
Right, so there we are. So it's away. Polaris Dawn is actually away.
Yeah, quick question.
Yeah.
Do we know what orbit they're in? Are they anywhere near the space station orbit?
No.
No.
That's another reason they can't
Yeah.
visit they're in a completely different orbit. And because of course this is not only have they got to go into this big elliptic orbit for the first couple of orbits when they actually reach the Van Allen belt, because they're only going to be in the Van Allen belt about 2 or 3 orbits at the most, and they're only going to dip in and then dip out again. But then from there on, the orbit's going to decrease. An hour once they've let into this launch, they're going to start to depressurize the cabin, because they've got to now condition themselves over the next couple of days so that when they do the spacewalk, they won't get the bends.
Yeah,
Which
right.
is what you remember when you get deep sea divers come up too soon. They end up with the bends. Of course, when the deep sea divers go in the sea, they have to condition themselves on the seabed before, and they're in pressurized things, and then the pressure slowly released for them. This is the opposite, because they're going up. They have to decrease the cabin pressure, and then they'll stop them getting the bends. So they'll be breathing. I think it's pure oxygen or oxygen. I think.
Yeah.
It's to stop bubbles forming in their joints, which can be very painful and lethal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, we got the re-entry. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong screen. Sorry. Spoiler alert.
So is the first stage landing?
It's landing on a drone ship.
It is, okay.
I don't think they've mentioned the name. Actually, I can't remember if they've mentioned the name.
I think it's Of Course I Still Love You.
That sounds about right. I think
Because
it
if
is.
you remember, a shortfall of Gravitas is undergoing refurbishment after the booster crash.
Yeah, and they've done some other launches since then, so their other ships are all complete.
I'm guessing it's Of Course I Still Love You. So Excellent. Things
got
look
me-
progressing well. We've got a
sorry.
lovely view from a darkened view on the left of the first stage returning to Earth. You can just see its
Oh yeah.
firing
you can see-
correct its trajectory.
just coming
And
up
on the
with
right hand
entry
side, we've
burn.
got the engine bell of the Merlin vacuum engine.
There's your re-entry
Going
burn.
brightly. Here we are. That's the entry burn on the left from the first stage. And next will be the landing burn. Now, as we know, a couple of weeks ago, SpaceX lost a booster upon landing when it seems like its leg collapsed and it fell over. But they got some of it back anyway, back to land.
Not in one piece though.
Yeah, no, better than nothing. They got the engines back. That's the main thing.
They're going to need a lot of. They're going to need a lot of gorilla glue to put that back together.
Yeah, absolutely. But we don't know whether those engines will ever be usable again. I doubt it somehow. But yes, so we're hoping, obviously. They've had a few landings since with Starlink launches that have gone perfectly. So we've got no reason to think that this landing won't be anything other than optimum. So we'll just have to wait and see in a few minutes what happens to the landing.
Yeah.
But it's not far off landing now because we've had the entry burn, so just a couple of minutes before the first stage lands on the drone ship. And we will see what happens. Meanwhile, the Dragon, or the upper stage containing the Dragon, carries on its ascent into orbit. Things are looking good there. Anybody in the chat? Anybody got any comments? Sandra says, do you know when the space walk is happening?
It's in 3 days' time.
Yes, Ian says Thursday.
Yeah.
3
So
days.
Thursday, we will, of course, Sandra, bring you live coverage of that spacewalk, which we're really looking forward to. There's a perfect landing on the drone.
Perfect landing.
And
there's some beautiful shots to come up now, seeing the crew and all that.
yeah,
So,
and it hasn't fallen over.
No, so that's another perfect landing, as we predicted. Yes, we will, of course, try and bring you the spacewalk live because it is, probably for many people, the highlight of the mission, although there's a lot more going on apart from the spacewalk, of course. But obviously, it depends what time the spacewalk is. But as Daz seems to have set himself up as our 24-hour correspondent at the moment, I'm sure we'll manage to bring it to you somehow.
hey, I'll stay awake for 5 days.
Yeah, and start gibbering, mad saliva running down your chin.
Oh, you're more than normal.
No, more. Yeah.
I think that's an image an image there on the right. I'm sure that's looking at the top of the Dragon. That's probably where the hatch where they're going to come out of.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, because I see they've got a little cuddly plushie for microgravity indicator.
They said that the process of actually exiting the spacecraft, is a little long because they have to be very careful. Don't forget that they're going to be wearing untested spacesuits.
Yeah.
In a vacuum environment. Why don't they just put an ejector seat in? It would be save a lot of time. So there you are. Ian says major highlight. I hope I get to see it. Yeah, we hope you can join us as well, Ian. But we haven't actually got a time for that yet. They haven't announced the time, so we will have to suck it and see, as they say.
Yeah. But they have said that they are going to televise it. Oh, there goes the top of the gondola. Oh, sorry. Just stay with this, Andy, because
yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful view. Oh, just stay with this, mate. You're in for a treat.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's lovely, isn't it? Look at that.
I think actually that must be the second stage. No, this is just coming up here. Remember, we're about a minute behind.
Yeah,
there's a second stage just, but there's the actual parting of the thing. So that's so that's the second stage. Sorry, I'm assuming it looks pretty. Yeah, because it's twisted now. I can see what.
Yeah, we're approaching the separation of the Dragon, coming up in less than a minute by the look of it.
Yeah.
So we're waiting with bated breath.
Sorry, I'm being naughty. I'm watching this on another monitor.
Yeah, right. There we are.
Look at that.
Fantastic.
Wow.
Lovely shot. Now you watch the sun all appear. Look. Wow.
Oh, beautiful. Look at that. This really is 2001: A Space Odyssey stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. So, successful separation of the Dragon that you see flying off into the distance there. This is the view from the second stage, of course. Ian says it looks like I look like a shot from Alien. Well, don't put yourself down, Ian. I mean, I wasn't going to say anything, but you know, having seen your profile picture, I can see.
I think there's a mistype there.
Yeah. So, look at that lovely shot with the Dragon and the sun there. Beautiful. Fantastic. Look at that.
And you'll see the reflection in a second, or you can see it now forming on the ocean below, the sun reflecting in the oceans. But
so we now have 13 people in space.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Is there any Chinese? What about the Chinese?
Their space station is currently occupied, isn't it?
Is it two?
Oh yeah, so
two?
Yeah, I think it's 2 on the Tiangong space station for China.
Yeah.
Ian says I'm the cat in Alien. Yeah. Yeah.
What was his name? Mr.
Morning, Gerard.
Jonesy. The cat was called Jonesy.
Jonesy, that's it. Jonesy.
He was.
Yeah.
I remember that bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So beautiful shot of the Dragon, half lit by the sun there, pulling off into the distance.
And that certainly looks like a higher orbit than normal.
Yes.
Well, yeah, because they are going out there into the Van Halen belt, as I like to say.
Van Halen belts, yeah.
Morning, Gerard. Hope you're well. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah. So, but that was a perfect launch. You could see how excited the crew were because Scott Petit was giving the thumbs up while they were taking off and everything, and you know they were all. So I mean, they've waited so long for this. I mean, we've had to wait, and it's been torture for us. Just think of them every day. They don't know. Is it today? Is it today? Is it today? You know. And, they're opening. They're opening the. Now you can see where what they're going to be hanging on to. They're opening up the top of the gondola. So
fantastic!
If you stick with this, and like I said, I know it's a spoiler alert, but I'm watching, like I said, on another screen. So it looks like that's the count for the
So
donations.
Yeah, so good old NASA spaceflight. We already raised $5,000 towards the 50,000 goal. Ian says, "What's the next phase? Will it be soon?"
Well, like I said, the first thing they're going to do is literally start from the get-go in about, because it's T plus 15 at the moment. In about 45 minutes time, they'll start the decompression. They'll be checking the systems, I presume, for the here we go. Checking the systems for the next few days. But the science. Well, the science is going to start as soon as they hit the Van Allen belts. You'll probably find they're already starting the monitoring of the radiation they're exposed to. I don't think there's anything from the sun at the moment. I did mean to check. I think it's all pretty nominal, so they're not going to be getting any extra radiation. Although the other day when they were going to launch, and we thought, I think on Friday when they were talking about launching, there was an enhanced solar storm. So it's a good job they didn't actually take off that day. So they're probably getting all the instruments ready because they're going to start doing these readings. As I said, the first few orbits are where they're going to be hitting the Van Allen belts. And like I said, the decompression. I suppose tomorrow they're going to start with some scientific stuff and probably preparing for their spacewalk on Thursday. And then the fourth day is all scientific stuff. Then they return on the fifth day. So, but they did say that they are going to film as much as possible. And now at the moment, it all depends upon the linkage to Starlink.
Yes.
Because if you remember, another part of this is they're testing communications with using the Starlink constellations.
Yeah.
So
there we are. All right. Well, I think we'll wrap things up for today. There doesn't appear to be any more live feed coming down.
No, that's all right.
So we'd like to thank you, obviously, for being with us this morning to share with us this historic mission of the Polaris Dawn from SpaceX. And the world's first commercial spacewalk coming up on Thursday. As I said, we'll try and bring that to you live, but it obviously depends if it's the middle of the night or not, because we're sure you won't be watching the middle of the night if you've got any sense.
I'll be
Daz will be here, because if he goes to sleep, he gets the nightmares again.
You say that. Apparently yesterday, my partner wanted to know what I've been watching on telly, because all of a sudden I sat up in bed and shouted, "Get in the boat!" So
right,
I was. Then she said, "Then you laid down and started snoring again."
Had you been watching Titanic?
Well, I'm a Titanic, or it could have been Alien. Could have been the lifeboat for the spaceships and that. But apparently I sat up bolt upright. So I do dream, and I do. Get in the boat.
Yeah, I mean, I must share. You've heard this story before. I must share with the viewers. I was on a course a few years ago, and it was a 5-day Microsoft SQL Server course, administrating SQL Server, and it's quite a deathly dull subject, very dry, very technical. And to make matters worse, the trainer teaching the course spoke in a monotone voice all the time like this, with no hint of excitement or energy or enthusiasm. And it was after lunch, and quite naturally, I was sitting there and I just fell completely asleep. And there were about 20 people in the room. And suddenly, I woke up, stood up in my chair, and just shouted out, "Aliens!" in the middle of this course. So...
Every aliens.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I obviously went incredibly red as a beetroot, and I apologised to the guy. I said, "Sorry, I didn't say sorry. I'd fallen asleep during your call." And he looked at me as if to say, "What the hell was that all about?" So there we are. And
can I just recommend people now just jump quickly onto now once we've finished here, of course, can jump on NASA Spaceflight, because they're showing repeats of the launch, and it's absolutely wonderful. So,
okay.
Yeah. All right. And also, guys, keep an eye on the Facebook group, because that's where we announce things, timings and things that we're doing. Also, obviously, keep an eye on the channel. We'd like to thank you all very much for being here this morning. It means a lot to us that we had so many people watching us this morning. Little by little, we're getting there, as it were. So you're very kind. That's all I want to say. And
and thank you, Ian, because he was here probably about 4 o'clock this morning, because as soon as I jumped on our link, there he was.
Yeah.
So he must be tired like me. So well done, Ian. Thanks for supporting us. Thanks everybody for being here.
And Ian says aliens jump up and shout humans. Very probably, Ian. Very good. Very good. Boom, boom. Boom, tish. I thank you. Right. Okay, guys. We'll see you soon. Take care of yourselves. Be good. Not be good. Be average. And anything else is just not acceptable.